Hello there. Oh no, I can't hear anything. There it is. Barely. I think that sounds okay. Hopefully it sounds okay to you as well. Welcome to BangocheFM. We're gonna do some different content today. You're gonna see my hands today. Although I think you've already seen my face as it is. Oh no, my captioning is not on. Why is that not working? Let me turn my captions on, chat. Why are my captions not working? Oh no. Okay, they are working. Okay. My captions are on. What's wrong with this? Let's refresh that. I'll reload my captioning site. I think it's working. I think the captions are working. Okay, they are. I guess the chat bot is lying to me. Any case, this is BangocheFM. We're gonna try some different content today. Sorry if I missed you guys. I've been out for a bit. I've been busy in the week. Usually I stream at night after work is done and everything else is fine, but it's been a rough week at work. When I say I mean really rough. It's been challenging. That is too bright, isn't it? I wish that Google Docs had like a dark mode. It's always like very bright. So whenever I change to my content plan, I have it written down before every stream. It's always like a flash of light into my face. In any case, here's a plan. We're going to talk about what I've done over the week. We're also going to discuss terrible bosses. I'm going to show you guys some of the photos and prints I've purchased to decorate the house I'm living in. I might do an unboxing of something if I feel like I'm in the mood. And then maybe we'll do some writing and maybe some programming if I have the energy. I just realized that it is around 3:20 a.m. So I might not have all of the strength to do a proper stream, but we're going to see where the night takes us in any case. Whether you're watching on stream or watching on VOD, I wish you well and I appreciate your attention and time. In any case, let's talk about the week. So my books here real quick. This is the book I want to look at later, but we'll talk about that in a sec. But let's talk about this week. So I work in tech. I think a lot of people already know I work in tech because I have all of this gear here. But I work in tech, and usually in tech, it's like you have a lot of freedom for how your time is spent and directed, but they take up a lot more time than they tell you. So some people work like a 9 to 5 job. They get in at 8, they leave at 4, 9 to 5, 10 to 6, whatever, and then they're done. With my kind of work, it has a lot of implicit aspects to it. Like for example, say for example, they're talking about a new technology that's going to be implemented at work, and they may not talk about training, but what that means is there is an expectation that you're going to take the time to read the documentation about it, to read the project, and also to work on your own to be directed toward that effort and whatnot. And so that's an issue because a lot of times that means there's your work, and then there's an unspoken amount of extra work. So the 40 or 50 hours you would normally spend at work now becomes 50 or 60 because you might be working in your spare time, working after hours, working on the weekend. It becomes a becomes implicit that you're spending a lot more time than a 9 to 5 job. And so on the one hand, that's great because if you're working, and you're working it's on something you love and you appreciate, it's not like work. It's like just you being yourself. But it's also bad because those sorts of things take a toll on your time. Excuse me. Good thing I got this tea. It take a lot of time with your effort and your attention, and that costs you. That costs you a lot more than you think. Oh, that's good. This is really good. This is better than I remembered it was. So this is a turmeric brew. It's it's turmeric with a little bit of sugar in it, not too much. In any case, as I was saying, what happens is that you spend a lot more time working on things than you expect, and then it takes a toll on your personality, your efforts. It may also incur a cost in your relationships and whatnot. So it's like, let me tell this camera to stop doing its thing. I need it to stop focusing. We're gonna have it cut off the autofocus so it doesn't start doing crazy stuff. So it costs you, and I paid the cost for that this week. So I don't want to speak too much about my job because I don't know who's watching, but I think people in the channel already know that I've been part of an organization that's been reorganized and whatnot. And so when you're reorganized, what happens is you have a new set of leaders, a new set of interactions, and also a new set of expectations, especially if you've been subject to a layoff. And so you get a new leader in your team or a new leader for your organization. Teams go through a I guess I could use this to talk about it. Let's get rid of that for a second. Teams, hopefully you can see this. Let me know if you can't chat. Talk to me if you're here. Yeah, a little bit. Is that too bright? I don't know. Let me know if that's too bright. Let's cut that down a little bit. That looks a little too bright. Hopefully that's better, easier to contrast without that glare over there. Teams go through 4 stages when they form, and so it's like I'll show you the quadrant. Looks like this. Now, it will be funny if you've been a victim of this or you've been subject to this when it comes to the formation of teams. And so what happens is that you have stage 1. This is when the team. I need a bigger. I need a better. Better marker. I need a better marker than this one. This one's too light. Hold on a second, chat. Let me find one. Where is that? Where's my marker? This looks too big. Wait, I think I found one. That's good enough. So as I was saying, before I was so rudely slowing down. So teams go through 4 different stages of team formation, generally. So the first stage is forming. So this is when your team literally starts. It forms. You have a new set of hires, a new set of teammates. You have a new office, maybe. You have a totally new situation you're running into. And usually people, either because there's a natural a natural desire for relationships to be positive and to be, convivial, you start out with a lot of optimism and a lot of friendship and friendliness. And that's usually the positive start. You have a new job, everyone's happy and everything like that. So everything is like generally good at this stage. Then you have the second stage. This is where the pain begins. This is called storming. I can't write it because the post-it is too small. But storming is when the pain begins. This is when you end up having a little bit of conflict with your new teammates because you have a set and series of expectations, unspoken biases, practices, and context. You have a lot of things going on with you internally that are uncommunicated to others that may be new to the team. So, but all of that is actually kind of like culture. Culture usually is things that are unspoken. In other words, things you do without someone telling you. You just do it. And so a cultural aspect and also maybe a personal aspect of being unfamiliar with these new teammates means that you go through conflict early about not knowing how you fit in together, how to integrate together, how to work together. As an example, at work for myself personally, I was tasked working on a project, and the person who gave me the task used a particular phrase to discuss what they desired. And that phrase usually is related to something called SLOs. And these are things you might see from Google. Google has a concept called SLOs, which talk about how you have objectives for how you want your service to be run. So, for example, you have a service and it's running. You want to make sure it's available for your users. You want to make sure that it's reliable and it returns the responses it's expected to return, whatnot, and the time it's expected to return them and whatnot. So you have a lot of things going on when it comes to a phrase like SLOs. And so one of my people I'm working with talked about SLOs. I was okay, cool. So I thought SLOs meant a certain thing to that person. So I did research and I expected to eventually compose a document that would list all of these things. Because SLOs are objectives. So basically you have to communicate what the objectives are and why. Come to find out later that this person who used that phrase didn't really understand that phrase. He said SLOs. What he really wanted was metrics. He wanted data points being emitted onto a graph with the idea of sharing them with some executive leadership. And so basically we were talking past each other. He said SLOs. He meant metrics. I heard SLOs and I took it upon myself. I took the ball and I ran with it. And I went off on my own to work on this SLO project, figuring, okay, I'll meet and I'll discuss things with people and then we'll come to an agreement and then we'll be done. And so both of us, I'm not saying equally because I'm always right and they're always wrong, but both of us kind of had like a certain mismatched set of expectations. And that happens in this stage right here. When it's storming, you got to figure out how people work and how you should interact with them. For me, maybe I could have actually earlier pinned down what his expectations were and asked him earlier what the deliverables were. Eventually, I got confused and a little bit upset, and I said, listen, what exactly are the things you want and what shape they could take? He might have been used to working with someone else who understood what sorts of things he asked for and what he would request. In other words, he may have been used to someone who kind of was on the same wavelength. Like you say something to someone and they just know what you're talking about. And so that might have been the issue with that particular interaction. Although if someone is in a leadership position, they should probably lay out what they're wanting for and then discuss time frame, deliverables, expectations, and whatnot. In other words, if you're going to be in a leadership role, you need to be a person who speaks clearly and raises clear expectations. Expectations usually are kind of a hard thing to discuss because a lot of times they come related to pain and accountability. Deadlines are good for setting expectations because, in other words, they communicate a certain amount of prioritization and uncertainty. If someone sets a deadline, you can't make it. If you have a good relationship, you can communicate about your inability to make that deadline. And then you also have the ability to say, hey, you know what? Saying something's due next week means it's implicitly more important than saying it's due next month. So, in other words, you're able to adjust your expectations and also balance it with other things you have going on at work. So, a lot of times, I think people have partial understandings about what they want to get done. And so, for me at least, it's like I could have been better about asking about what that person was seeking. But I think I kind of took the initiative and said, hey, you know what? Tell me what you actually want. But anyway, that's part of the storming phase. So to that point, you got the next phase in this whole team formation quadrant. And that is norming. I can't write it fully because it's too small. But norming is when you begin to actually have those conversations and learn how to integrate and work with other people. So in other words, now I know from going forward that if he talks to me about a certain particular thing, this person in leadership, I need to pin down what they're seeking and when, and also pin down the deliverable. In other words, don't just be a mind reader. Don't just expect to know that you guys are talking about the same thing. Oh. So yeah. So norming is when things become maybe not without conflict, but now you know how people work. You know how to talk to them, you know how to interact with them, and you know what they're up to. And then when it becomes performing, this is the final boss. This is the true north. I cannot write it all the way there. Performing. ORMing. This is when the team is well integrated. They know how they work together. They know how to interact with each other. They know how to communicate with each other. In other words, this is when they become a well-oiled unit. That sounds wrong. That sounds way wrong. But that's when they become a fully functioning team. Everyone knows what they're doing. They know why they're doing it. They know how to interact with each other. They have the patterns for how they get stuff done together. It's all sorted out. And so this is where you want to end up at eventually. But if you're part of a new team, usually you're going to end up here for a little bit and probably end up a little bit here. You're going to be back and forth between this. To get to this stage might take months. So in any case, so we're going through a little bit of that right now. And because of that, I've been not sleeping. I've actually had, it's funny that I'm very intuitive because I actually had intuition that something might be up with this project I'm working on. And so I stayed up all night working on one of the aspects of the project to find out information I needed to. And I said, oh, wow, this is bad. I can't figure out this thing. And then I dug a little deeper and found out that, hey, you know what? This particular set of information, due to architectural constraints, we cannot access it at all. And then it's funny because the next day, the person I was spoken to said, hey, can you get this done by this date? I'm going to promise it to executives. And I said, no, don't do that. Do not promise that at all. Because I just found out this thing cannot be touched. Can't touch it, can't get anything out of it. So, but also too, I think that person messed up too, because usually if you're speaking to someone in leadership, never promise something you don't have any idea about. Because if you can't deliver that, your team looks like mugs and you look like a liar and a BSer. So don't ever do that. If you ever become a manager or a leader, don't just BS in a meeting. Don't say yes, sir, no, sir. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Say, I'll look into it and I'll find out what I can find out for you. And also communicate your constraints. Say, hey, you know what? This is what we know. And this is what we're going to try to do. And this is the time frame in which we're going to try to achieve it. Don't just say yes, sir, and run with it. because oftentimes the end product that people in leadership may be asking for may not align with what you produced. So you need to talk to them, get it together, do that. In any case, that's enough work talk, but that's why I've not been on stream for a while, because I've been too tired to stream. I've been up all night. And actually it's funny because one thing I did was I was so frustrated with the person I was working with that I actually did a deep clean. I deep cleaned my entire front room, and it was pretty crazy. Like, I actually did like everything. I What did I do? I I know what I did. I had to wait till I received some towels. So in my front room I have a couple of things. I have a piano on one side. On the other side I have an aquarium. And then on the side of the house that's facing the driveway, I have two windows, like one over here and one over here. And so I was afraid of the fish in the aquarium being impacted by all of my cleaning, because I'm going to kick up a lot of dust and whatever. So I had to wait a couple of days till I received some very large towels. I received the towels, I covered the piano, and I covered the aquarium, and then I started from the top down. So I started out first. I went to what did I do? I went to what did I do? I can't remember. I think what did I do? I forgot. I cleaned. I'm trying to remember the sequence. I did a particular sequence. I wanted to make sure I cleaned from the top down. So I think what I did was oh, I remember. First thing I did was I vacuumed the ceilings. I have an older house. It's full of spiders. And unlike a lot of people, I'm not afraid of spiders. I like spiders a lot. And so I took the vacuum and I vacuumed the entire like ceiling, first of all, to knock down anything. I have a feather duster, but those things, I don't think they work too well. And you gotta clean them and beat them up. And I don't like them. I like them for a couple of things, but a lot of times what happens is they just drag the dirt around. They don't actually pick it up. So first I vacuumed the entire like area in the living room. Then I got a rag, and then I like wiped down the edges of the walls where the cobwebs were. I got rid of all of those, and then I got some Murphy soap, wiped down all the walls with Murphy soap. Murphy soap can be used for anything. It's not just for soap. People don't realize that. You can use Murphy soap for anything. And so, wipe down all the walls. Careful around the aquarium, because I'm on a ladder and I'm scared of falling over and hitting the aquarium. Like, that would be embarrassing, and also a terrible amount of cleanup, and also a lot of dead fish. So, cleaned up all the walls. Then I went to the drapes and the window on both sides. So the drapes needed to be washed. So took the drapes down, put them in the washer machine out here. It's right in front of me. And then I went a little crazy. I think I like you know those things were like what do they call those, window sills? Like those little edges in the window, like these little things here. You can't see this, can you? It's too light. You cannot see this, can you? Let's try this. Let me know, chat, if you can see this. We had like those little, I guess they're called window sills. These little things where the panes of glass are here. But yeah, anyways. So basically, I wiped all of these. I cleaned up the dirty portions first. I cleaned up all of the windows, like the sides of the windows and whatnot. But also, there's like this gunk on the actual wooden pieces between the panes of glass. And so I got a toothbrush and I just scrubbed all of that out by hand. I did all that. Then I took the rug, rolled it up, went outside, and just started beating it. That was a nightmare because there was so much dust inside of it. So then brought that back in, rolled it up, put it out, You can't see. You obviously you can't see my apartment. I put it out near the washing machine, and then swept everything, dry mopped everything, vacuumed everything up. Then we did the Murphy soap treatment. Went all over there. And then I also purchased one of those air blower things. So basically, after I did all that, I could then air blow it. And when that was done, it was clean, like from top to bottom. I wanted to get the dirt off the top first and knock it on down to the bottom. So I did that because I was so upset with the person I was working with. And I was like, you know what? Usually, when you engage in that sort of cleaning of that nature, it's kind of therapeutic. I learned that from someone I saw on YouTube a while back. YouTube usually is a very bad influence on people, but oh wow, that was bad. I didn't mean to do that. But there was a person I ran into. His name was Rajiv Surendra. I think it's Raji or Rajiv. I'm not sure if it's Raji or Rajiv, but he's a beautiful man who lives in New York. Has a beautiful apartment apparently, and he talked about how when you clean things from top to bottom, that doing that is very therapeutic because you have control of something. You have the ability to make a change and set a target. And I was like, okay, I can't get this stuff done that this person asked me to do, but I can clean this area from top to bottom. And I got that done. I worked till like 8 in the morning. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy to do that, but it was done. My back hurt, my neck hurt, but it was over. And I did so because I wanted to prepare that space for certain things. Let me get my prints here, Chad. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me also make sure there's enough room for these things here. Let's move some things around. Let's move some stuff around here. Let's also make sure I can see it to make sure you guys are cool or not. So I bought some prints. This one I like a lot. I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but hopefully you can. There's a face here. I'm not sure if it's a woman or a man. Kind of has a mustache here, but it's kind of like a very interesting piece. Can you guys see this? Let's focus in a little bit. Let's zoom in a little bit. That's too zoomy. Too zoomy. That looks better. Yeah, this piece I purchased as well. I had to go and buy the frames myself, and it's funny because I don't really do framing stuff. Like I don't know how to do that sort of stuff. I realize I've never actually done paintings. I've done posters. Like I've never actually like framed a picture in my life. It's pretty crazy to think about that. I'm not old, but it's like, you know, it's one of those things that you would think a man of experience would have encountered by accident in one way or another. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was kind of crazy to actually run into that. To see this thing. And so since I've never actually done like framing a painting, it's kind of weird. Like these little things here are like plastic tabs that kind of flex and fold. And so you get the frame and it comes with this cardboard back or cardboard, what they call it, a matting or whatever. And these are covered by these flaps. So you have to basically bend these flaps up. You bend all these up. You pull out the cardboard. And the cardboard usually is covering the glass that you see on the top of this. And then once you do that, you want to obviously clean the glass in case it's dirty. And then put the painting inside. And if the painting has a pad on it, it's usually good because a pad is usually what you need to make sure that gives you like this area here around the image. So it's not just you putting a piece of paper inside of this. If you just did that, then the paper might just shrink and fall down. So did that, and then I had to make some decisions because some of these frames come with one of two things. They usually come with this little sawtooth thing. Not sure you can see that or not, but this thing here, you have to hammer into it, into the frame. And once you've done that, you can then get a nail and just stick the nail and just hold it up like this. And that's it for the painting. The other method to frame and hang one of these is like you have to get like those items. They're called D rings. And so you put the D rings on each side of the frame, like around here, whatever, I think. And what happens is you have to put them here, drill them secure here. And then after you do that, usually the kits that it comes with usually come with like a little piece of metallic twine or whatever. And you run the twine between the D rings. You loop it between the D rings, and then you have to get a fastener on both sides to basically secure it. And once that's done, you have this like impenetrable metal string at the back of the painting. And then you can just take the painting and just, you get like a nail or something on a hook, and then it just hooks onto there, and it stabilizes the painting. It also makes it flush against the wall. This might have a little bit of like leanway over. Basically, you won't be able to tell the difference if you're walking in and watching the painting. So I have a mixed feeling about which one is better, either using the D rings or using this. This I don't mind, but I get a little scared like banging into this. Like, I'm not super strong, but I do have concerns about destroying this piece of wood by accident. And also I'm kind of adventurous too, so I actually I actually banged this into the frame with the glass still in it like a lunatic. I should not be doing that. But any case, I like this picture a lot. I have a couple other prints we're going to show you tonight as well. So I spent probably too much money on this, but the walls are naked and I want to fill the living space I have with more richness in it. So we have this painting here. I like reds. Hopefully they don't come off too strong here. Let me have, this is a photograph of, oh, you can't see that too well. This is a photograph or a print based on an image of a tunnel leading out from the island I live on. Not sure you can see the stars and whatnot. This light is not good, but yeah. I like this one a little bit too, but it doesn't have that much personality to it though. It's okay. Booba. What are you talking about? I'm gonna ban that phrase, picnic. You got to learn Japanese. You need to say opai. Say opai. Opai. Be sure you're at a glottal stop. Say opai. Don't say booba. I'm gonna ban that term. Say opai. This one's a kind of a bland image. It's okay, but it's like not great. I'm gonna go through the list of these. Let me make sure this is a little just image. This one I like a lot. I'm not sure if this light is doing it justice, but it has a very nice gold leaf appearance to it. I need to find a pad around it because this is not solid in and of itself. Looking to find out who makes this. Oh, I can probably just make this readable. Let's see here. Can you guys read that? Probably not, because we can't focus it, can we? Let's focus. Let's do autofocus real quick. Autofocus, go to work. Autofocus. I'm gonna put my hand next to it. That's hard to read. That's hard to read. But yeah, this one's nice. This one is usually I don't like butterflies, but this one's okay because I like the fact the diversity of the butterflies gives it a little bit of character to it. Usually this is like very stock, like butterflies, whatever. It might be a fern. I'm not really a plants person, so I don't really know like what it is. It does feel like a fern, but the color kind of threw me off a bit. Yeah, this one I like a little bit too. Like usually butterflies are kind of like stock and boring, but this is okay. It's not bad. I also need to make sure that this needs a pad or it doesn't need a pad. Now this one, I was intrigued by this one because I don't think the bird actually has. It looks like the bird has a crown, but these are like stars leading up on the top of it. If you can see that properly, can you see that? We're gonna find out. Yeah, this one I like a lot. I think these are figs. It's just a bird, but it's like something about this just has like a really earthy, an earthy appeal to it. You like carnivorous butterflies. Fair enough. You like violence. You woke up and chose violence, Picnic. Don't choose violence. This is the ASMR stream. Choose relaxation. Choose de-stressing. This one has a lot of character. The art is kind of simplistic, but let's go to autofocus. The art is simplistic, but I like the way that this dog just sits on this couch like it's his. He belongs there and he's centered and happy. He's a very happy pup. I like this one a lot. It is rudimentary, but it's also like sometimes you don't not everything has to be like a work of art. It could just be, it could just be itself. Like, not everything has to be like a performance all the time. This one kind of reminds me of Etruscan vases, although this looks like a pig, a unicorn, piggy unicorn under some kind of plant that you don't need to water. I've forgotten the name. Looks like a jade plant. Oh wait. And then there's Kumato Tayo. These guys are eating a whole bunch of stuff. I think it's like looks like a feast or a festival or something like that. Not a cactus, not a cactus. I think it's a jade plant. The kind of plants, what's the name of the plants you don't need to water? The plants that bachelors cannot kill. The ones that have they have leaves like this. They look like teardrops, like green teardrops. I can't help you with that. I can give you a suggestion, Picnic. You need Metamucil. It's awesome. Also with this dog too. This dog is regal. Got his little bones in a tray. He's sitting on the couch. He's relaxed. He's waiting on his human to serve him. A little bit. Waiting on his human to give him some service. Human, if he had hands to clap with, he probably would clap. Fetch my kibble. And this is my favorite dog right here. My favorite dog. Like this dog is like nice. I think it's a Shiba. It's like a Japanese dog. And it's funny too because dandelions are also a thing that grow in Japan. People don't realize it. So, happy pup. it's just cute. It's just cute. I like this a lot. I like this a lot. I think we're done with these. Let's find some more of these to look at. I did buy a painting too. I bought like a legit good painting. This painting has a lot of personality, although it might be hard to know what's being rendered in this. I think it kind of looks like a bridge or some kind of tower. It's also lined in gold. The title's called Sutro. I should Google that. Let's look up Sutro for a second. Wait, that is true. Sutro Tower. It is a tower. Sutro Tower. Oh, it is Sutro Tower. It's a tower in San Francisco. It looks exactly like this. Sutro Tower, like Sutro. I've never actually been to that place, to be honest. I wish I could paint. Painting would be a cool thing to do on stream, like learning how to paint. But wait, there's more. Hold on. So this cat came as a set of 3. Yeah, I love this. I'm not sure you can see this now. Let's focus in a little bit. Let's go a little deeper. Let's focus in. Let's make it a little bigger. Hopefully my camera can keep up with this. So you can't tell from, you might not be able to tell from the camera angle, but these are like inlaid tiles. Like these are like little mosaics here. And then these are also like embedded inside of the edges of this. Like these are actually textured. And then in his little bib, there's this little thing right here. If you're not sure you can see it, also protrudes upward. Like, hopefully you can see the textures. I'm not doing it justice, but hopefully you can see how well made this is and how beautiful it is. And there's a set of 3 of these guys. Let's wrap him back up. Let's focus up a little bit. There's probably too much focus here. good. So this is paper art. Let's see if we can focus in a little bit. If you can see this or not. I want to pop these. I'm not going to. I really want to pop them. I'm very tempted. No popping. So I'm not sure you can see this or not, but this is all tightly rolled paper. This is not a painting. This is not a painting. This is actually paper. I'm not sure if you can see or not, but you can see that there's some sort of depth to this. These are tightly rolled pieces of paper to form this entire design. I love this. I love the sides. It's clean. Also, she is online. Let's see if we can get this to autofocus. Let's go up a little bit. Hold it up. Actually, no, let's do this. Let's set it down. Let's zoom in, and then we'll see if this can focus in on her name. Let's try autofocus shot. Let's see how this works. Might be too hard to see that, isn't it? I should probably, after the stream, probably I'll see if I can add links to everyone's email as well as their Instagram and whatnot, because these are some nice pieces I have here. Like this must have taken so many hours to do. Like this is like, these are probably like about, at minimum, a quarter of an inch tall. No, actually no, more like a fifth of an inch. I think here, an inch is a finger. How big is this? Let me estimate that. So wait, my finger is, this is 2 inches tall. So inside of that's probably 1 inch. And then like about, I'm trying to think, like about this much of my finger. Like the tip of your finger tall. It's insane how much work she must have done to make this work. Like insane. But I like it. Insane in a good way. Like a good kind of appreciative kind of, you know, eccentricity. Oh. Let's look at the next piece. I think this is the rabbit. I don't know what they say about that picnic, but I think you do. Is that from personal experience? This has no texture to it, although the you can't see it, but this feels like a very it feels like, I don't know what the word is, like paper mache or something like that. This is a rabbit. I think it's called the Conker Rabbit. Conker Rabbit. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's called the Top Hat Conker Rabbit. I'm not sure you can see that or not. It's very thick. It's about as big as my hand. It's cute. It's small. I'm surprised they wrapped it so nicely though. It doesn't need that much protection. I like this one. It's like very like the edges are like it's just it's not cute, but it's like it's very accessible. I guess that's the word. It's very like it's very straightforward. And the thing is, I wouldn't know this was a rabbit until it told me it's a rabbit. I'm like, okay, that means these ears are inside. Like you're looking at that, you just think it's just an egghead or something like that. I would think an egghead, but it's actually a rabbit, which is kind of cute. Now I need to find the artist to see if they have any more pieces to see if, whether or not this is like maybe this is one of a set in a series. Because I like well dressed animals apparently. But you know, like it's very durable, and also the fact she put all this wood inside. Like like this is painting on like this is a very rough canvas. Like this is a canvas here. Like this is not a block of wood. There's a blocks of wood on the inside, but the canvas is actually like wrapped around the edge and taut and stapled in place. So you see staples for the frame here. There's also staples to keep the canvas in place on the edges. They're very subtle. You can barely see that right there, but it's very subtle. So yeah, I guess she drew it on the canvas and then she wrapped the canvas tight on the edge and stapled it all together. It feels like it should be holding something. It's like it's very like it's rugged. This one I like a lot. Although I might need to add either a nail or something to hold it, suspend it on the wall properly. It might just need a regular old nail. Normally these pieces come with those little mounting brackets on the edges and whatnot, but this one I like a lot. It's very like I don't want to say normal, but it's also like it's very like it's good. I guess it's just good. It's the word. It's just good. Let's wrap it up. Wrap it back to where it was. They took a lot of care in wrapping it. Like I don't know why they needed to they put it inside of this plastic, but also they placed it inside of this envelope here of bubble wrap. I think if I do another stream, I should make a stream of just popping bubble wrap. That's probably the most accessible ASMR experience people have is popping bubble wrap. I should not be a packer in my next life. Don't entrust me with any of your gift wrapping or grocery shopping or grocery packing. I will destroy it utterly. This was a mistake. On to the next piece. Oh, this is another one too. Oh, I think I like this one. This one I think you'll like. I think you'll like this picnic. This is the same artist who did the paper folding. But check this out. Same style. I'm not sure you can see it. You can see the height of the pieces of paper. This one is a little bit less intricate, but it's also much bigger. It seems to pop more. But also the same thing with the whites. And I like the fact she took a lot of attention to setting it up to be like mountable, like immediately. It's very clean. The whole thing is just clean. Like it's actually like she followed the edges off the wood and everything. Like the wood is smooth, it's painted. It's not bad. It could have more character though. Like it's just other than I know it says A, but it could have a little more character on it. Yeah, that one's okay. It's not the best one, but it's all right. see, we have another. I think that's it for the prints. We have another print. I think one last print. Sorry, one last of the cats. The cats are part of a three-part series apparently. There was the cat that had the four corners. We also had these cats, which appear to be their brothers and sisters. Same little. Sorry, wrong hand. This hand. I think it's called Modern Mouse. Yeah, this is a cat right here. The wood is smooth. Oh, I didn't see that. It has these things on the edges, like you can just set it down. Oh, I know why. I guess they have the hanging bracket on the back of this. That way it'll hang on top of this, and also it won't like the wood won't bang against the wall. That's why she has these here. Little I guess they're called museum wax something. I'm not sure what these are. How do I put this back in? Oh no. Will this fit? It should fit right. They just put it in like tight. Okay. I don't want to destroy the bubble wrap. Uh, mm. Yeah, I think that's it for the prints we purchased. Let's find something else to look at. Hold on a second, chat. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I want to make sure that I have no fluid on the desk. I'm going to get some posters on here and see what we're going to do. Say, Picnic, are you into anime? I hope you are, because we're going to do some anime stuff. We're not going to do actual anime. We're going to do like, I'll show you some pictures and posters I got from my old job. So when things went wild with the world a couple of months and years ago, all of my stuff was left at the job. So I had a lot of posters. My cubicle was famous for having so many posters. And so as I've been unraveling all of my desire to put things on the wall, I found a lot of old posters. So we're going to look through a couple of them and see which ones you like. If you're into anime, I have a couple of old pictures that I have. I'm going to show you to them real quick. First one's Bakugo from My Hero Academia. Oh. Is that too bright? Off this light for a second. Here's Bakugo. What I like about this painting is that this is Bakugo when he's fully mature. He's grown. He's got like, he has actual human proportions. He's got the hair. He looks like a devilish pumpkin with the power flowing from his chest out to his arms. Although his eyes could have been better, you probably can't see here. I'm gonna try to turn on autofocus. It's gonna be terrible. Hold on a second, Chad. This is not a nice picture, although he could have had some more personality. I think the background works well, contrasting the darkness surrounding him, probably the darkness of his character, and then his explosive nature. There's also a couple poses I have from a series I haven't read yet. Gotta move this down a little bit. Not enough room for this. This one I like a lot. Let's make the picture down. Light too bright. Let's take the intensity down a little bit on this. But this one I like a lot because the nature of a woman just sitting on her bed, playing cards, smoking a cigarette. I don't smoke, but I think this just communicates a certain sense of ease and relaxation. A certain just being in your skin kind of vibe, which I think smoking kind of indicates. I don't like smoke. I don't like smokers generally, but something about this picture is just very sultry and very accessible to me. I have not read the comic. This is a web comic, I think. So I don't really know what this character's about or what her story is. I just like the form. This particular painting, or I should say print, comes from an anime, which I kind of don't like the premise to. This was a character who was running around taking photographs of everyone he could. He's known for having a camera. Well, I gotta find that out. What was that called? It was the anime where it was something 13. Something 13, wasn't it? Almost like the 13 colonies. Anime with number 13 in the title. Was it 13? It wasn't Goal 13. It was a recent anime. Anime that had it was an anime that had, I don't want to say fascist, but it had very sort of weird totalitarian. Basically, the characters were part of a totalitarian kind of society, and they were bureaucrats and investigators. And this character in particular was running around taking pictures all the time. I can't remember it. Recent. With pastries. It was almost like pastry porn. What was this called? I gotta Google it now. What was this called? I don't remember. I don't remember. Is it in the back? I gotta get rid of this poster putty. It's going to annoy me. Be careful with this, chat. Do not cut your poster trying to scrape this stuff off. It should come off very easily. Also, do not waste the poster putty. You can reuse it. This is actually pretty good poster putty. It looks like it has a lot of stickability after the fact. I will not waste this, although I probably need to put it in a bag or something to make sure it doesn't dry out too much. What am I going to do tomorrow? Chat, for those who watch football, is the international break over? Are they playing normal games now? Or are they still doing like stuff like international competitions, like friendlies and things like that, or World Cup qualifiers? Are those still going on or not? Let me know. I am not sure. I have forgotten. This is harder than I thought it would be. I don't want to scratch the back of this poster. I like it a lot. Although I am a little bit upset that I don't remember this particular anime's name. All I know is it was very much into pastry. The pastries look insane, and I do not like sweets at all. I don't eat sweets. I don't buy sweets. Even though it's funny, I actually drink a lot of boba. Like, I wouldn't actually buy a candy bar. I might buy like a Snickers or something like that. Yeah, I would buy a Snickers or whatever, but I wouldn't actually like say, hey, you know what, I want a candy bar. Like I would only buy it like because hey, I need to take a trip or I need to drive somewhere and I can't like sit down and have a meal. So I'll just purchase a candy bar to eat in the car. There's this one too. I like this one a lot. I had this at work and no one gave me any trouble with it either, which was kind of cool. This is the same girl from before who was smoking the cigarette. And I'm guessing maybe when she was playing cards, she was playing cards with this person on her mind. Extremely intimate. Also, I like the way that their lines are drawn. Although I do wish there was more going on in this dead space here. This dead space kind of works. Like, this space feels alive. This space is like dead. This space is not dead because of the cushions and the headboard. Like, I want to know where they are. I want to know in what context this is happening. This intimacy. I'm very curious. I need to read the webcomic and I've forgotten its name. But I basically need to find a black woman that has red and white hair. But yeah, let's take off these bad boys right here. They're not super gnarly. I guess I must use a different type of poster putty for these. I think I did. I think I did. These are hard to come off. These are like stuck on. I'm surprised. These are like rough. It must have given me a good seal when I put these up at work, though. Oh man. Do not destroy the poster trying to get the putty off. Mm-hmm. Mm. These are not easy to come off. I don't. I'm not afraid they're going to tear the. I'm not afraid they're going to tear the poster, but I'm afraid they're going to degrade and come to little bits and clumps if I'm not cautious with how I scrape these off. Oh, come on here. Thick putty. So thick. Ah, thick. There we go. I must have used two different kinds of putty for this. This seems a little bit easier to come off. The other ones were kind of like degrading with every scrape. Oh, this is bad. Don't destroy the poster. Actually, now I think about it, should I even take this off? It's actually good putty, to be honest. The putty is like rough. It's sticking the way I expect it should. Sticking properly. Oh, what's that? What is that? No, 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 no. Okay, I think it's good. I like this paint. I like this a lot. I like this. I gotta think of where I'm gonna put this though. I like these paintings a lot. I have not read this comic. I didn't like the introduction to it at first. So it was basically started with a male character, but I think maybe these two characters might have taken over with regard to their primacy in the story. These don't stick. They're not going to stick to anything. They can't stick to my finger. They won't stick to the wall. I don't know. Let me try this. Try these in the wall. Wait a second. Let me see if this still works. Apparently not. Apparently this poster putty is not the shelf life I expected it should have. So this is it sticks to the poster, but it will not stick to the wall with enough strength to keep it from falling. I am very cautious to see how these are going to behave with like 3M or those commando strips. Chat, how are you guys doing tonight or this morning? Don't don't feel obliged to speak, but if you want to, don't be afraid. I like hanging out with chat. I'm a small streamer. This will not be a career. It is a parasocial pastime of mine. Yeah, if you're new to this channel, say hello and feel free to say goodbye. But whether you want to be quiet or not, that's fine. I appreciate you. And I hope you're having a better week than I am. Now I'm thirsty. It's empty. Crap. I forgot I had this paperweight. How heavy is it? Watch me work, young blue man. Now they are clean. This is a cute picture right here. Not sure you can see chat, but she has freckles. And a hairband. Usually I find it interesting how different artists render African American characters. Because oftentimes they get a lot of aspects of their facial structure as well as how to color their skin tone in particular spectrums of light correctly. But usually hair is a problem. And I feel like I'm not sure whether or not this character's hair was drawn this way because this is part of their aspect, as in their hair is just like this, or whether or not the person who drew this didn't know how to draw black hair. Like, I don't know whether or not this this character's natural color, or whether or not this was like, hi, I can't draw black hair, but I can draw black faces, and I'm just gonna work with it. I'm not saying that's, I don't know the intention, and I don't know the capabilities of the artists themselves, so I don't know whether or not, like, you know how, like, if you look at like an X-Men, like Storm, for example, Storm has always had straight white hair, and so Storm did not look like a person, like a kind of character who was made because, hey, you know what, I can't draw this kind of hair. So I didn't feel like, hey, you know what, that was like, it didn't feel like it was something that was detrimental to the character for me. I don't know this character. I don't know whether or not that's a problem. Although I have seen artists who have learned, non-black artists who have learned how to properly render African American hair. I should say African hair. The right way and with the correct amount of diversity in it. Accurate renditions, or even creative renditions of black hair. Hair that I could believe. That's what I'm looking for. I don't have any hair. If you watch the stream, you know that I am bald. I got tired of going to the barbershop. But also because I wasn't balding, but I had like that weird sort of hair where like the edges of my forehead would start tracing back through my scalp. I think this is the same kind of putty we had before. I think this is the same kind. I'm shaking the table so much it might shake the camera. I apologize, chat. Chat, what did you guys eat today? I had some fish from Jamaica. Well, not literal fish, but more like I had a dish called escovitch fish. That is one of the traditional Jamaican dishes. It's basically a fried snapper fish. It's seasoned, I think, with a little bit of red pepper, chili, salt. They just deep fry it, and then on top of that, they cook a pickle. They make pickles, so they have like onions and carrots that are cooked in a pan with some spices and whatnot. And so the pickles are then poured over the fish after it's done frying. It's a very aromatic and also acidic and spicy dish. I think it includes some Scotch bonnet peppers in there as well. So Scotch bonnets, onions, carrots, pickling spice. I think some red peppers and green peppers as well. And it's served on top of a bed of rice and peas. Now, one thing to remember, chat, if you go to Jamaica or go to the Caribbean, when they say rice and peas, what they mean is rice and beans. It's not actual peas, not like the green peas you get in the store in America or in Europe. Rice and peas are rice and beans. That's what it is. But don't take my word for it. Talk to someone from that area and they'll let you know what it means. So we had that. My friends eat meat. I don't. So when we ordered the food, I was kind enough to order them some oxtails. If you like oxtails, I don't eat this stuff. I don't know how it tastes, but I think it's like one of those meats that people really appreciate. So I ordered them some oxtails. My friend also got some brown stewed chicken. And all of us received a bit of their special pineapple ginger juice. Raymond, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, we got some pineapple ginger juice. And usually I always get their ginger beer as well. If you want to try a real ginger beer, go to a Caribbean restaurant and ask for their custom-made ginger beer. It's not going to be in a glass. It's going to be in like one of those plastic juice containers. And prepare to have your mind blown. It's going to be hot. The juice I had was so hot, it like went in my nose, and I was just like, oh. It was good. It was spicy. I needed it too because I had a lot of the deep clean I did a couple of days ago kind of bothered my sinuses with all of the dust we picked up. Raymond, how's your day, man? You may be the only one who's in chatting. We're doing an ASMR stream, so we're kind of just chilled out today. Raymond, let me know. Are there any games today? I've not been streaming because I've been working a lot after hours, so I've not been really caught up. I don't know whether or not we're still in if there's still an international break, or whether or not normal service has resumed with regard to Premiership games. I'm suspecting the latter. Oh no, heat broke. Is it? Are you in the UK, Raymond? I'm gonna say if it broke, hopefully it's in the daylight so you can get some service and also have some sunlight to keep you warm. Do you have any heating elements? First of all, tell me where you're at, Raymond. Oh, Germany, okay. Oh yeah. Wait, weren't you in Hanover? Hanover, right? Hanover? Yeah, I remember being a college student and that would happen. And what I would do, first of all, always buy a little heat element or a heater. They heat hot, but the problem is like you gotta get it in a small space. You close the room up and you got the little heater just blasting. It's hard to fall asleep because they're like they make so much noise. And usually if it's electric and you're like me and you're a college student, you're living in an old building, and so you're kind of scared the old building might pop a fuse. So you got to be careful. You cut off. I used to cut off every other electrical appliance in the entire place. Just cut on the heater, get under my covers, put it away from me, so that way the noise wouldn't wake me up if I could sleep with it. Another thing too I used to do before I realized how dangerous it was, that would be to cut on the oven. Now the thing is, I was smart enough to realize cutting on the oven is not a good idea if you're not cooking, because carbon monoxide poisoning is very serious. And so what I would do is I would cook in the oven while I'm awake, while I'm watching it, and I just let it go on for a long time. So basically heat up the house all over. And then when you fall asleep, you cut the oven off so you don't die of carbon monoxide poisoning. And also you have the heat in the house trapped. So it's like a race against time. How cold is it? How cold is it, Raymond? Hope you and your family are okay, man. It's not fun. Cold in winter. That is one thing too I got to think about too. I'm not old enough to retire, but if and when I do retire, I need to move someplace warm. Getting guy to fix it on Saturday. Oh wow. Wait, Celsius tells you all you need to know. You're at freezing point of water. That's the thing. Americans don't realize Celsius is awesome. Water boils at 100 and it freezes at 0. But the thing is, for me, I think we've been so accustomed to if you tell me 65 and 32 and 95 in imperial measurements, we know what it is. I had to try to cultivate a learning of Celsius to know, hey, 20 degrees is hot. Hey, 4 degrees is not. You know what I mean? There is and was a particular department in America dedicated to advocating for the use of Celsius. and the metric system. But now I feel like Americans might not actually. I feel like the question is whether or not it's a practical issue, whether or not it's like an actual cultural issue. Like it might take time for people to learn about kilometers and meters and whatnot, but also we're Americans. We don't care about the rest of the world, that kind of thing. Although it's funny because when you look at imperial, basically we got imperial because we were a colony of Britain. So you could say, hey, you know what? Become metric and like to throw off the shackles of past British imperialism, that kind of thing, you know. But yeah, Raymond, I'm not sure when you dropped in. We were here earlier. We were looking at some prints and posters. So basically, like I was telling chat earlier that I was very frustrated with my work environment now because I have some people at work who don't know how to communicate clearly and stuff like that. So I got mad because they can't write properly and they cannot communicate ideas. So I spent like 8 hours last night deep cleaning my entire living room and kitchen and stuff because I was so frustrated. And so since I cleaned everything up, I cleaned the walls, I cleaned the ceiling, I cleaned the windows with a toothbrush. I washed the drapes, mopped, scrubbed, wiped, disinfected. I went to work. And so we bought a bunch of prints and stuff. These are not the prints. These are old posters. These are older posters we have here. We were looking at here. But I'll show you one or two of them. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. I'll show you one of the pieces we have. Yeah, it is kind of weird to use the temp scale. It was invented by a Swede, and you guys are using one invented by a German. Fahrenheit. I think most Americans know about Fahrenheit because of the scale and also was it 451 Fahrenheit. Yeah, we got some things like this here. So I bought a bunch of artwork a couple of days ago. This, I'm not sure if you can see it properly or not, but this is all paper. These are small, tightly rolled strips of paper. I'm not sure if this is doing it justice or not, but I'm not sure you can see it. But like these are like about a quarter of an inch, or like a third, like maybe like a fifth of an inch tall. I need centimeters. I'm sorry, you speak centimeters. You speak in centimeters. Alexa, how many centimeters is a quarter of an inch? 0.25 inches is 0.635 centimeters. So 6/10 of a centimeter tall. Just for you. That's about how tall these are. They're very, very small. So we have this piece here. And we had some other things we were looking at as well. We were looking at this piece I like a lot. There is a woman in this piece. She has her back turned to you. The one thing I will say, I think the piece is good, but I think it probably is hard to disambiguate the woman and her form from her environment. I can't tell where she ends and the background and the gown she has off of her shoulder begins. And that might have been intentional. This one I like a lot. I'm going to put it in the front room. Although I do wish there was more characterization in her face. We have a little bit higher. I don't want to do that. No, just higher. So yeah, we bought a bunch of stuff. Bought a bunch of paintings and stuff. Right now, we finished going through the prints and the paintings we have. We're cleaning up some of the posters that I want to put the around the house as well. You yours to it? Okay, cool, cool. We'll use inches. Now, one thing we had an issue with as well is like, that's what it was. Okay, so earlier on we were looking at a poster, and I liked the anime a lot. I'm not sure if you're into anime or not, Raymond, but there's an anime called Aka 13, and basically it's funny because usually in anime people don't realize smoking is a big deal. Like a lot of Japanese people smoke, but usually it's not just smoking as an activity, but it's also kind of like usually smoking in anime is indicative. It's a marker of being mature, like you're an adult. So when you see people that are, you don't see. I don't think you see like young people drinking or smoking because they're not allowed to do that in anime apparently. But it's kind of weird that they have restrictions on public intoxication of minors in anime. I think there's actually a literal restriction, like they cannot show any kids drinking. They are not allowed to do that. But you see other stuff in anime that I cannot speak about on the channel for people of that age. So I think people don't realize how smoking is like a marker of being an adult. And this anime was kind of cool because it has a very, for the lack of a better word, a very fascist aesthetic. But the art is good, the story is good, and this anime, Aka 13, has some of the most beautiful pastries you'll ever see rendered. Like the characters are good, the action's good, the story's good. I don't like their aesthetic, but it was an anime enjoyed a lot. I haven't seen it in a couple of years, so we found a couple of these posters we had at work for that. So yeah, it's about a quarter of an inch for those little rolls there. So we're gonna do this till I run out of energy. I think I'm running out of energy soon. So Raymond, do you know if there's any football this weekend that's normal? I've been so tired. I haven't actually been caught up on football lately. I do know. Wait, I should have been caught up. I do know Arsenal just beat Rennes 6-0. So I think this will be a normal weekend of football. I think I should just ask my home automation. To be honest, it should tell me. I should just consult with that and ask it. Yeah, I think we're gonna finish the stream sometime soon, and then I'm gonna crash out. I'm going to probably do Football Manager um, when I wake up later on. Bundesliga. Interesting. It's funny. I'm an Arsenal fan, so I was very happy to see Harry Kane leave, but also in the abstract, him playing for Bayern is a perfect fit. He is destroying that league. It's funny because I keep forgetting about how the scales of fitness and performance have been stretched by the modern game. Normally, players over 30 are a no-no. Premier League, oh, okay. Premier, like usually for me, like maybe it's too much football manager when I was younger. Like, okay, a player's over 30, he's done. Harry Kane's like 32, he's just getting started. He will probably become top scorer in the Bundesliga. He will likely win a title this year with the Bundesliga. And who knows how far he'll go in the Champions League with Bayern this year. So I think it was a perfect fit for everybody involved. Although it's kind of weird though, because you figured they had Lewandowski, and for whatever reason, I know Tifo did an article about how he wasn't, how Lewandowski was never a good fit for Bayern, but that's probably Bayern's fault because it's like, Bayern always buys Dortmund's players. It always buys the best players all the time, and so it's just like, I mean, If you buy your rivals players all the time, and then the players you bring in aren't a fit, that's more like the club's issue than it is the personal issue. But from what I understand, Lewandowski, in spite of his goal scoring record, was never really accepted as a part of the Bayern, iconography. It's weird to say that. Like, how can this guy, this deadly goal scorer, not have been perceived as part of Bayern's team? I'm guessing because the contract negotiations became very acrimonious toward the end, but it's also like I guess that feels very mercenary. Like, I didn't like the fact that he moved on to Bayern. Like, I don't one thing I don't like about the Bundesliga. One thing I don't like about the Bundesliga at all is like I don't like the honesty. And when I say that, like, usually I know it's a practice in the Bundesliga or German football to be like, hey, you know what? I'm leaving next year for this club. Like, the fact that they announced that so early and everyone knows it, I appreciate the directness, but it's also like that does something to how people play, where it's like, hey, you know what? I'm leaving this club to go there. It's just weird to me. Like, I wish they were more British, like, as in keep it a secret and then surprise me. Like when Sule went to Dortmund, I'm like, why are you going from Bayern to Dortmund? This is weird. And I guess it means Dortmund are perceived as not being a threat because, hey, we'll just give you our defender because we know you're not going to do anything with it. We know you're not going to win with this guy. We're going to give you Sule. Werder Bremen, old strikers. Wait, didn't you have like who was that guy? Did you have Ailton? Was that your boy? Wasn't Ailton Werder Bremen? Ailton. Was that the boy? Yeah, the chubby guy. Yeah, Ailton. I loved Ailton, man. Ailton was insane. Oh, is that like an actual like has that something to do with oh, maybe that's it. Like as in like the 6 month thing. Oh, okay. Yeah, but it feels like usually it's like, hey, usually players keep where they're gonna go like quiet. Hey, I'm working for blah blah. I'm gonna leave at the end of the year. On the one hand, I think it's kind of cool because it means there's no speculation over your head. Like, hey, there's no drama about what's gonna happen. On the other hand, I guess I wonder how it might impact people's performances. Like, are you gonna play different once everyone knows you're leaving? Like, I'm afraid of like people who are fans watching a player who has said I'm leaving for this club and wonder whether or not if he has a bad game, is it a bad game because he had a bad game, or is it a bad game because, oh, he doesn't care, he's leaving? In other words, but I know players are professional. Like I saw, like for example, Lewandowski. He said I'm joining Bayern, but he's still playing for Dortmund, and he did a job. He still wants to win. So I guess it depends on the mentality we're talking about here. It's just something different. I'm not accustomed to the transparency. Like, like it's funny. I'm not married or anything, but like one thing I've heard is that people in certain cultures, like if you're married, usually it's a thing that as a man you must grant the woman in your life access to all the finances and she must control them all. And I'm like, that seems a little intrusive to me, but it's like if you hide the finances, it's like you don't love her. I'm like, wow, that's different. But it's funny though, because that's dangerous sometimes. Like, I always assume the worst. My field of expertise where I work, I assume the worst. Because I work with like reliability. And so it's like, okay, imagine the worst case scenario all the time. So for me, I'd be worried about being in a relationship and then having no ability to escape financially because, hey, you know what? They know where all the money is and they're going to take it all. Like, for me, I would probably like have a secret bank account somewhere just in case. XD? What does that mean, XD? I'm a little dumb today, Raymond. What does XD mean? Yeah, I'd be really concerned about like having my finances controlled by one person. And don't let her catch you doing something wrong. Watch all that money disappear. Like poof, gone, gonzo. You have a lot of little poster things over here. Post of IRL. Oh, sorry, chat. That's loud. I missed this poster a lot. This is this is Levine Renee. Hmm. Where should this go? I like this poster. She has a wig, but I like the wig. It works well with her hair. I like this poster a lot. I like this poster. Just smiling. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it, but it's like I don't mind the access, but I feel like it's funny because like I'm not married, I don't have a relationship, and I also question my ability to share things. Like I'd feel very comfortable being transparent about my emotions, but I always assume the worst, and I'd be afraid of okay, she comes home one day and now she wants to destroy me. Do I have the ability to escape? And it's funny because like usually when you're in a relationship, you talk about like building and sharing, and you grow together as a unit. And it's funny because like why would you as a person assume the worst and prepare for the worst when you're in a situation where it's more than likely things might end up for the best? And maybe it's because it's my past. Maybe it's maybe it's because I've not seen an actual modeling of that in my own life. I've not actually seen people have happy, healthy, symbiotic relationships. And so it's like the first thing I think is when I'm in a relationship, okay, how do I escape? If I get hurt, if I get injured, what's going to happen to me? Mac, what's going on, man? Welcome to the ASMR stream. You're up bright and early. Let's give you a shout out here. Yes, there are marriage settlements, but how well those end up for you may differ. Usually, what I've been told is that generally, marriage settlements do favor the woman because usually women have a lot more burden with regard to their ability to sustain their livelihoods outside of marriage. Although like it depends. It depends on the nature of your separation. Like some people they divorce, some people just separate and take a break. And usually I think the fair thing is like, hey, you know what? If you're married and a woman is dependent on your income for her livelihood and her survival, you took that on as a contract. Just because you had an issue with it doesn't mean you get to back out of that agreement. So a lot of times people get divorced and they have to pay what they call it. Men have to pay alimony. Women have to pay palimony. I think it may depend upon the breadwinner in the relationship. I don't know. I'm doing okay, man. I'm holding it down, only Mac. I was telling chat earlier about how we're gonna take a different approach for this stream. So I haven't played the game yet. I haven't played any games today. I've just been like looking through my stuff. So I'm doing all this poster stuff because I was upset with someone at work And so I spent all last night cleaning up my front room and living room. And so now I have space on the wall and it's clean. I want to put stuff on the wall. So we're going to put posters on the wall, and I could put paintings on the wall and put prints. I'm going to decorate my living space accordingly. I'm prepared. How are you doing, sir? Weren't you working on cybersecurity, Only Mac? You were doing that, weren't you? Yeah, that is true, Raymond, that they do have settlements out here. But it's funny because, like, the thing for me is, like, Americans are confused when it comes to, like, marriage and stuff. They're confused because society confused them about it. Marriages in some countries, in some places, is very understood, because usually, like, hey, like in places where the marriage is based upon a union of families and a union of interests, I feel like that might be a little bit, I'm not gonna say it's better, but I feel like it might be better to reason about. In America, marriages are contracts, but people perceive them to be a religious sacrament, a union, a spiritual union. And so what happens is people come into the marriage with different expectations, understandings of what that institution comprises. And then after 5 or 10 years living with someone and finding out what they thought isn't what they believed, and finding out that what they want has changed, or the person they married has changed, and they want to get divorced. And it's not just men, it's also women too. So I'm not blaming people for anything, but it's like, you know, a lot of times I get upset with people who get married, and then when they get married, they don't actually study themselves, and they don't study the person they're with. And I'll give you a perfect example. And it's funny because I saw this happen in real time. Many years ago, I used to work in an academic department, and you know, people are grad students, they're postdocs, you know, they're doctoral candidates and whatnot. And since I'm there, I was there as a tech support person for, you know, a university department, and that means I get to see a lot of things unintentionally. There's one woman I saw her getting married. She's like, "Hey, I'm getting married." And the thing is, she said, "You know what? We're ready." I said, "How do you know you're ready?" And she said, "You know what? We've been living together for 3 years. I wanted to be ready to get married, so I want to make sure this is the right guy. We're gonna get married, live together for 3 years, then we know what's going on." I said, "Okay, cool." So she gets married. A month later, there's problems. I was like, "What's going on?" She's like, "You know what? It's weird." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, lived with the guy for 3 years before they got married. They get married, and the first day after they married, the very first day, and this is so crazy. So when they were living together before they were married, they had boundaries and agreements. They said, "Listen, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you take care of the bathroom. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you take care of this and that." You know, basically they had like a sharing of responsibilities around the house. The day after they get married, the very day, the dishes were in the sink, and it was his turn to do them. And she's like, "Hey, are you gonna do dishes like you're supposed to?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm supposed to do the dishes? I thought you were gonna do that." So in other words, she lived with this man for 3 years. They shared everything. The day after they get married, he thought, "Oh, we're married, so therefore all that stuff is out the window. You do this, you do the dishes, and I just be a man." Which means he was just going through the motions all this time. He didn't actually internalize that this was the kind of life that she wanted to sustain for this marriage. And that was why they took so long to get married. The day after they get married, he stops doing the dishes, and then they get divorced. It was so crazy. Here for the vibes? Glad you're here, Mr. Mac. Be here for the vibes all the time. Network engineering, oh, that's right, I remember that. How was your job working out in that regard, Mac? How that guy wanted you to be a mind reader and stuff? Oh, there we go. Missing this one. We're just chilling out. I know someone who married a person, but he said it's starting to feel like they only married a person because of occupation. There's nothing wrong with that, but it depends upon whether or not that was honestly understood or not. Like, there's a lot of contention and discussion in America about, you know, a lot of times all this little manosphere stuff is just kind of weird. Like, okay, women say, I want to marry a man who's this and married and rich and that. And men say, I want a woman who looks like this and she's got this, she's got that, Whatever it is you want, you got to be honest about it and honest about your needs. A lot of times people don't realize there's a certain amount of masking going on. People become their better selves when it comes to relationships. And then once they're married, things become weird because now it's not a game anymore. You're now contractually obligated to protect and care for and share things with another person. And I don't think that works well because Americans have been taught to be selfish. And I think the selfish nature of America permeates our entire fabric, including our romantic life. Like, take me for example. I live by myself all the time because I don't want roommates and I don't want to be bothered. I live with roommates and it was hard to live with them because so much drama, cooking, and I thought about it in naturally, like how it was fun to live with them, but also it was painful. And then I circled back and I thought about, what is it about living with someone else, whether they're romantic or just your friend or roommate, whatever? What makes it so weird? It's because we've been taught to be selfish. We don't live together. We don't love each other as people or friends, whatever. And then you've been taught to go do everything on your own. And so now, when you're in a situation where you have to share something, it becomes something alien and weird and bad. Like for me, I actually thought about, I actually had to think about myself for a while. Like, why am I not married? Why am I not living with someone? It's because hell is other people. And I feel like maybe the fact that I withdraw from people isn't because, it isn't because like I've been brainwashed to be independent, but maybe because number one, I'm not equipped with the skills to deal with other people. And number two, other people may have been taught certain things about how they interact with others that make it hard to live with them. In other words, I don't have the experience and skills to live with other people. I don't know how to share with other people because I haven't seen any modeling about how that's done. And then they also have been taught to just take whatever they want from people, abuse them. In other words, we're not taught to be in a community. And that may not just extend to just how you live with a person who isn't someone with which you're romantically involved. It could also extend to your romantic life. As in, when that couple got married, that man had it in his mind all that time, when we get married, this will change. And never thought to communicate that. I feel like a lot of times families are bad for you because they do that to you. They make you walk around with these unspoken, implicit expectations. And then because of the nature of the family or situation, they just become manifest. So imagine that. Imagine getting married to someone and you never thought to tell them, hey, when we get married, you're going to do dishes, right? It's crazy. It's so insane. But yeah, married for occupation. So when you say that, do you mean they married them because they have a high prestige kind of occupation, or married them for the money, or both? Like, hey, I married this person because they're a doctor and they're going to take care of me. Was that the thing? Let me read the chat. Let me catch up on chat. It's going well through a Crescent Party family and friends. Oh, you were the token. The token is spoken. Oh, that has to be the worst. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, theoretically, you want to be with someone who accepts you for who you are. Like, and do not take relationship advice for someone who's not in a relationship. I am not in a relationship, so I don't know how that's supposed to go. But theoretically, you would want to be with someone where you could be your ugly natural self, and they would still accept you. That is one thing too that I think people don't have an acceptance of, and that is unconditional love. Because that's not a thing. But no one is going to say, you know what, conditional love is good. But they will walk around with that. They'll walk around with that. You know what I mean? I have some fire anime here. So this is Motoko from Ghost in a Shell, I think. I think it's just no, this is not Motoko. This is from this is the kid from Iron Blooded Orphans. Although it looks like they have a feminine aspect. This is the kid from Iron Blooded Orphans. On the side too. I forgot what this was. Like, totally forgot what this was. Do not listen to Andrew Tate. Unless you want to end up in a Eastern European prison. Do not listen to Andrew Tate. This is an anime. I don't know what anime this is. Because this is different. This thing in her head. This thing in her head tells me something. It's not a letter though. It's like P and an E all together. What is this? Chat, do you guys see that? Does anybody recognize that logo on her head? I think this is an anime character. Does anybody in chat know enough anime to know who this person is? Okay, Mr. T. Jeez. Mr. T. People forget Mr. T had a cartoon, and it was terrible. Black Library. It's like eight. Wait, Black Library. Isn't that like Warhammer? Age of Sigmar? What is this? Black Library. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I forgot. It's a bad thing. I'll have to Google it. The thing is, I don't know how to Google this. Girl with a letter on her head. Because I figure the clock has to do something with the clock has to be meaningful in some way. The clock is meaningful. Yeah, Black Library, the Age of Sigmar. But well, let's see, Black Library, woman with a sigil on her head. She has it's a sigil. I don't know what this is though. I have to do an image search. I don't know what that is, but this is definitely that guy from Iron Blooded Orphans. Because the thing is, it's hard to tell because this has the actual face of Barbatos. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about for Barbatos, right? Bible Black? What is a Bible Black? What is this? What is this? What is this stuff what is this media you've been exposed to, man? Oh, it's like an anime. Oh, it's a whoa. Wait, is this a video game? Oh no, what is this? Oh no, what is this? I'm on Bing, which means it might be like it might give me like terrible answers. Let me look at this in Wikipedia, my trusty news source here. She looks like a magician. Whoa! No. We're not looking at that. No. No. We're not looking at that. That's no. We're not looking at that on stream. No. We're not doing that today. Not today. I'm not sure if you guys were here for this or not. I got this. Yo, Mac, you might appreciate this. I got this cool image from Bakugo. This is like 6 years old. I think this is old. When the series started back in the day. I like this a lot. We're gonna put that up there. So I think we're done with the posters. We're done with the posters. We're done with the prints. You know what? I'm going to. I think it's time to crash. Let me get on stream. Let me get let me get face on here. Let's get face on. Is it still working? Is my face still working? You can't see my face. We did a little work. We did a little work on the back of the room. You can see. Oh, this is broken, isn't it? I can't. I don't know how to do this anymore. I don't know how to stream anymore. In any case, here's what we're gonna do. We're going to end the stream, and I'm gonna crash out. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. I probably will stream tomorrow, aka today, which is like Saturday, and then I'm probably gonna stream some Football Manager. I also want to do some programming. So, Mac, you weren't here for this. We've been doing some Python coding stuff for some automation things to mess with Football Manager. So I think Raymond plays a little bit too, but I think I've written some code to automatically praise players, but I've also written code to also scroll up and down and also praise players as well. I want to refine it a little bit and then maybe share it with people and whatnot. And so who do we raid? Because I'm not really let's find someone playing Football Manager tonight and see what they're doing. Yeah, we'll be on probably later today if I'm not too busy. Yeah, thanks for vibing out, everybody. Different kind of stream, just all hands in the stream. Who do I know out here? Who do I know in these FM streets? Where are my friends at? FM girl on? Where's my girl at? A lot of Germans. That one guy who hates the game is on here as well. Where are my friends at here? Where's the Tony Jameson when you need him? If anybody has any suggestions, let me know and I'll rate them. It does not have to be FM. Just let me know what they're doing. And if they're cool people, and we'll send you over to them. I don't know anyone here. Yeah, I'm gonna sleep well tonight. Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back in like around 10 hours or so. Don't worry about that. Let's try this random person. I don't know who they are. Their name is Afroholic. I like the vibes. We're gonna rate Afroholic. Now before you go, if you are new to my stream and new to my content, we normally don't do this kind of content. This is something different. So this is ASMR, but we're going to try to. We usually do FM here, or maybe some GeoGuessr. So feel free to just follow me on socials. Do feel free to what is that? Discord, YouTube should be in the mix. So yeah, we should have all this data here for YouTube, socials, and Discord. So yeah, do feel free to pop in there. Everything you see on stream usually is also available on VOD and YouTube. Although I have to question their dubious sort of quality assurance and whatnot in that regard. So yeah, we'll be back later today, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys then. Let's raid Alcoholic and tell him I said hello. He's a mature kind of person. The channel is intended for mature audiences, so I'm not sure what kind of content he's going to give you, but hopefully it's going to be fire stuff. But yeah, Mac, we should talk about your stuff, talk about your networking stuff and things in general, man. But yeah, it's good seeing you guys. Good to see you too, Raymond. Hopefully get your heat fixed. I know that's pain, especially in a German winter. That's not fun, dude. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Take care.